No matter what you do, practice makes perfect. To be really good at anything, you've got to practice. You've got to practice not your mistakes, but the right way. And knowing the right way means more than learning the rules. The experts are those who began by learning the rules and followed through with never-ending practice. You can do the same thing once you learn how the experts put rules into practice. In this respect, driving a golf ball is no different from driving an automobile. For the right way to drive a car can also be learned by practice. For example, there's a right way to apply your brakes going down a long, steep hill. Keep your left foot off the clutch pedal and use your brakes like this, so they won't get too hot and fail. And on steep hills, it's a good practice to shift to a lower gear. This saves your brakes by making your engine hold back harder. So there are two things you can practice to become a better driver. Fan your brakes and shift to a lower gear when necessary to make downhill driving simpler and safer. You can practice good driving uphill too. Take this situation for instance. That arm signal means danger, stay back. So take his word for it and stay back. Now he's signaling all clear, but see for yourself that the road is clear before you pull out into the left lane. As soon as you pass him, get back in your own lane. For keeping on the right side of the road, especially in hilly country, is plain common sense. It's common sense because danger you can't see may be rushing toward you just around the next curve. Whenever you can't see the way ahead, hold your speed down. Make it a practice to anticipate trouble by slowing down when you can't see. For unless you can see, you can't assume the way ahead is clear. When you hit a stretch of road like this, your natural inclination is to step on the brake. But bouncing wheels don't have much traction, and that might throw the car to one side. So slow down gradually while you keep a good firm grip on the steering wheel. When your wheels get into ruts made by other cars, slow way down. Then pull up out of the ruts with a tight grip on the steering wheel to keep it from twisting out of your hands. It's always good practice to drive slowly on bad roads. Good for your car and for yourself, because it's safe. Rain, snow, or sleet also call for a light foot on the accelerator. For in the first place, you can't see as well, and in the second place, you can't stop as quickly as you can on a dry road. On a dry road, you can stop quickest, of course. When you have to, you can step on your brakes and stop in a hurry. The black band represents the distance required to stop your car on a dry road. Now let's see what happens when the street is slick from rain or snow or ice. You're traveling at exactly the same speed as before. You have to put your brakes on at exactly the same point. But remember, now the street is slippery. You've done everything you could to stop your car, but it goes 4 to 6 times as far as on a dry road. Only by making it a practice to drive more slowly and more carefully in rain, snow, or sleet can you protect others and yourself. Water on the highway can be a serious driving hazard. To greatly reduce this hazard, slow way down before driving through it. It's almost impossible to tell in a hurry how deep the water really is, but it is possible to drive through relatively deep water if you take it easy. If necessary, shift to second so you can crawl through the water. When you get through the water, it's a good idea to try your brakes to make certain that they are operating properly. A couple of stops will usually dry them out. Water hazards often exist in unsuspected places on the highway. Wet leaves, for example, even on an otherwise dry pavement, can be as treacherous as glare ice. Skidding is dangerous, and you should know what to do about it. First, let's take a close look at what happens when a car goes into a skid. We'll watch it in slow motion. In a skid, the rear end of your car acts like it's trying to get ahead of the front end, like this. Something must be done to keep the car going straight forward, yet putting your brakes on just makes the skid worse. Let's start over again and see what to do. The instant you feel the rear end swinging, turn your front wheels in the direction the rear end is swinging. Turn them into the skid to get your car back under control. No matter which way you skid, always turn into the skid. But better yet, prevent skidding by taking curves more slowly. On snow, ice, or rain, tires have a tendency to slip instead of grip. You don't try to run on ice, you walk, and it's the same with your car. You will find that with practice, you can apply so little power your car will walk right out of slippery spots, and you'll be on your way in no time. Slip is not all that wheels may do unexpectedly. Even today's wonderfully sturdy tires are sometimes punctured, or occasionally, without warning, blow out. When a tire does blow, keep your foot off the brakes. The first thing to do is to keep the car under control by gripping the steering wheel firmly. Take your foot off the gas, and then apply the brakes gradually to bring the car to a stop. You can tell by the direction of the sound if it's a front or rear blowout, and this is important in determining how to control it. If it's a front wheel, the car will tend to swerve to the side of the blowout, so you must hold the steering wheel firmly against it. Get your car fully under control before trying to stop, and don't worry about the tire at this time. If it's a rear tire, the rear end of the car may tend to sway from side to side. The main thing to remember is to keep your car moving straight forward. Regain control first, then slow down and stop. Because he has practiced keeping his mind on his driving, the alert driver is ready for any emergency, whether it be the bark of a blowout or the snarl of a siren. If you hear a siren, pull over to the curb without crossing an intersection and stop. For a siren means that an official vehicle has the authority to use the space you are occupying. Keep your mind on your driving all the time. Dusk, for example, is an especially difficult time of the day to drive. Be on the alert for pedestrians, for hazards appear to blend with the gray twilight. Turn on your lights early so you won't be a hazard for others. But most important of all, slow down at sundown. At night, of course, the skillful driver continues to be on the alert. Make it a practice to dim down bright instrument lights to improve your night vision, and learn the right way to pass drivers who fail to depress their headlights. Signal the other driver with a quick flick of your headlights by pressing the foot switch a couple of times. And instead of looking at his headlights, shift your eyes to the right, to a spot wheel marked with an X, on the edge of the road ahead of the car. Now keep your eyes on the imaginary X, and you won't be blinded when a car passes. For your own safety, don't leave your own lights on the driving beam, even though the approaching car does. Switch your lights to the passing beam and cut your speed. Shift your eyes to the edge of the road. X marks the spot. As soon as the car passes, look ahead again, but give your eyes a few seconds to readjust themselves before you resume normal driving speed. It really pays to drive carefully at night, in the city or the country. And remember, always use your passing beam when a car is coming toward you. Here's why. Your headlamps are designed to light the road far ahead of you with the high beam. But this beam will unavoidably shine right in the eyes of an approaching driver, and his high beam shines in your eyes. So cars are equipped with a passing beam. Always use it. As cars approach each other at the crest of a hill, even the passing beams are blinding, as you can see. So make it a practice to slow down as you approach an oncoming car at a hilltop. It's smart because it's safe. In fact, every practice of good driving is smart because it's safe. And all it takes to be a good driver is practice the right way.